Okay, what will be the future mobility for South Africa in an international perspective? Well, I think we have a lot of new possibilities, new technologies coming up. So it's very important that we see how these new technologies, how these new possibilities, they can fit to the South African situation. So we see all kinds of technology in cars that make cars smarter, that will make traffic safer, make it more efficient. It can also do good things for the environment or make new services with data that is collected by these vehicles that also can create new jobs. So we need to find out how, for instance, the road operators, how they can make their infrastructure future-proof, and how we can do vehicle testing and how we can make sure that new vehicles are being emitted on our roads. Another important part is that drivers that are using this new technology, they know how to use the technology, and that they can safely operate the new vehicles. And that we also find a way to, for instance, integrate cycling and other means of non-motorized transport and these new ways of motorized transport into one mobility concept that helps you as a traveler from one place to another place. And very importantly, it's good to have good cooperation between stakeholders, all the major developments. So we have the government, of course, we have the road administrations, the driver license authorities, we have the academia, and of course, last but not least, we have the industry that is going to build new products that we think that can be very worthful for South Africa as well.
As a Mobility Centre for Africa, we are appealing to our stakeholders, particularly in government, industry and academia, to join forces with us, to be able to work with government as a collective, because this them and us situation is not working in the transport industry. We want to collaborate so that we can work on developing the right policies, the right legislation, and let it take shorter, because technology is moving at a faster pace. We don't want a situation whereby a legislation is reviewed. By the time the review process is done, it's no longer relevant because technology has changed. So we need to do that and proactively do that upfront.
Good afternoon. The question was asked earlier about Mobility Centre for Africa being for Africa and then why in South Africa. And the answer to that is we need to start somewhere, and South Africa is considered the leader in many aspects in Africa, and so we felt that initially we can start and get things started and explore the opportunities in South Africa, and once we have a better understanding of the framework and how Mobility Centre for Africa is going to operate and influence government, we can expand it to the rest of Africa.
Today was a very interesting day. I guess we've touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to shared mobility and the possibilities that are there in terms of innovation and technology and the public transport space, including private transport. I think the greatest takeaway is that there's so many of us that are doing different things in isolation, and the more we can bring each other together to share the lessons, share the information, most importantly share the data, the easier it is for regulators to do what they have to do, which is regulate and create policies that are enabling. I'm hoping that it's a matter of time before we can start seeing this kind of technology being employed in your minibus taxi environment, your bus environment. At the end of the day, this is about the commuter, it's about the user, and what better way to use innovation to accelerate that kind of service delivery. All in all, I'm very happy, and I'm hoping that, again, the biggest improvement we'll see or get from government is the churn of a revision of policy to a point where we don't play catch up with emerging trends like shared cars, electric vehicles, and even autonomous vehicles. But I'm happy.
Today, the third Future Mobility Roundtable just brought to me again the message, are we ready in South Africa? Is our infrastructure ready? And the answer is no, we need to get ready. For me, very important is the fact that we must get our infrastructure to be an enabler for future mobility solutions. If we can get our infrastructure to respond, to enable vehicle technology and ride sharing, for me that is the solution that will take us forward. Also bring mobility as a service to our communities out there that didn't have the opportunity in the past to share and use these services. So I'm very happy about today. We had the right audience, we had the right speakers, we had the right engagement and debate, and we will continue this debate going forward for the sake of future mobility.
For me, there was two key issues that came out of today. The one is that we need to integrate our efforts to achieve the outcomes that we want from this change in our mobility industry. And secondly, we need to make a concerted effort to bring the impoverished and poorer communities of our country into this debate, because after all, they're the ones that are suffering most from mobility. And I think that the Mobility Centre for Africa will be playing a key role in trying to coordinate these efforts between all the various interested and stakeholders in this initiative.